Proton E-Mass 7 intelligence that electrifies. Real जमघट जहाँ रियल पार्टी प्याक त्यहाँ नयाँ गुड नाइट फ्ल्याश अरु लिक्विड वेपोराइजर भन्दा 2 गुणा बढी प्रभावशाली.
Proud to be associated with Kantipur News.
Good evening, I am April Singh Lama and these are the headlines of the hour. Government moves to grant amnesty for serious crimes undermining judicial authority. Cabinet empowered to pardon all crimes under proposed bill sparking rule of law concerns. Fraud under visa pretext escalates amid lax regulation and official collusion. CIAA investigates former immigration chief for alleged involvement in trafficking scheme at Trivandrum International Airport. Russian forces launched a barrage of 367 drones and missiles at Ukrainian cities overnight. The largest aerial attack of the war so far kills at least 13 people, injuring dozens more. And Chennai Super Kings defeats Gujarat Titans by 83 runs. Gujarat's qualification now hinges on other match results. Welcome back. The government and the president have faced repeated criticism for granting pardons to convicted criminals. Instead of addressing these concerns, the government proposes legislation permitting pardons even for serious offences. The National Criminal Procedure Code Amendment Bill empowers the Council of Ministers to pardon any convicted individual, raising concerns over the potential disruption of the balance of power between the judiciary and the executive.
Preparations are underway to grant pardon to individuals convicted of serious crimes, with the executive asserting dominance over the judiciary. The government has recently begun issuing politically motivated pardons, disrupting the balance of power. It now seeks to legitimize this action through legislation that contravenes established court ruling. The draft Criminal Procedure Code Amendment Bill, prepared by the Ministry of Law, Justice and Parliamentary Affairs, proposes allowing pardon for individuals convicted of serious crimes, raising concerns over increased executive control over the judiciary. Previously, pardon requests were submitted by the Ministry of Home Affairs to the President, who would assess the case before referring it back for action. The proposed bill, however, allows the Council of Ministers to recommend pardons directly, bypassing the Home Ministry. Given past controversies and Supreme Court reversals of some Home Ministry proposals, this shift risks further politicizing the pardon process. Under the proposed amendment, the Council of Ministers would have the authority to grant pardon to individuals convicted of any crime. Unlike the existing law, which excludes offences such as corruption, rape, torture, human trafficking, smuggling and money laundering from pardon, the new provision allows clemency for all crimes. This has raised serious concerns about the government's commitment to the rule of law.
यो के हो भन्ने कुरामा हामी पनि अलि छलफलमा क्रममा रहेकोले मैले ठ्याक्कै भन्न सकिनँ, तर यो अन्तिम नभएको र एउटा सामान्य दस्तावेज र सामान्य ड्राफ्ट मात्रै भएकोले यसमा मैले धेरै बोलिरहनु परेन. म तपाईहरुलाई यसमा चाहिँ अलिकति म आफू पनि क्लियर भएपछि थप कुरा चाहिँ यहाँबाट भनौँला. अहिले यतिको लागि मैले
The government has faced repeated criticism for granting pardons to individuals convicted of serious crimes under political pretext. Resam Chaudhary, who was sentenced to life in the Kailali Tikapur case, and Yograj Thakal, alias Regal of Nepalganj, who was also serving a life sentence for murder, were pardoned. These actions were seen as direct executive interference in judicial matters. The Supreme Court later annulled Regal's pardon, ruling it unconstitutional, leading to his re-incarceration despite ongoing governmental pressure on the president to uphold such pardons. Following judicial scrutiny and public opposition, the government has shifted course from pursuing a general pardon law to adopting a more concerning approach. Legal experts warn that the proposed provisions risk undermining the judiciary and rendering it ineffective.
कुनै पनि मान्छे चाहिँ त्यो केसमा इन्भल्भ नै भएको छैन, एकछिन भन्नुस् इन्भल्भ नै भएको छैन, त्यो नितान्त अपराध पनि गरेको छैन, निर्दोष छ र राजनीतिक केससँग जोडिन्छ भने त्यस्तो अवस्थामा त्यो दिने चलन हो. तर चाहिँ जुनसुकै मुद्दामा दिन थालियो भने त स्वतन्त्र न्यायपालिका, सक्षम न्यायपालिका भन्ने चाहिँ त्यो रहनै सक्दैन, त्यो अन्त्य नै हुन्छ.
While the law permits the state to grant a general pardon based on an individual's conduct and sentence served, the government is now undermining this principle, as well as the separation of powers and the rule of law, by preparing to introduce an unconstitutional provision allowing pardons for serious criminal offences driven by political motives. For Kantipur News, Him Prasai on the camera, a report by Anjana Lamithani.
It is time for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse, brought to you by Global College of Management, the first choice for +2 management. Baneshwar, Kathmandu. Global School of Science, an exclusive center of +2 science. Baneshwar, Kathmandu.
But before that, let's take a look at yesterday's poll. Yesterday, we had asked you, why do you think Nepali Congress leader Shekhar Koirala has demanded resignation from Home Minister Ramesh Lekhak, who is from his own party? 66% voted for A, questioning ethics of the minister, 24% voted for B, inter-party politics, 9% voted for C, a mere speech, and 1% voted for D, don't know. Now here's today's question. What do you think of the government's move to draft a law allowing the Council of Ministers to grant a pardon even for serious crimes? Your options are A, politicization of crime, B, interference in the judiciary, C, undermining the rule of law, or D, prefer not to comment. The voting is on. Visit www.kantipurtv.com or www.ekantipur.com to share your opinion with us. Now, fraud in the name of visit visas has escalated due to the negligence of unlicensed organizations operating under the pretext of foreign employment, lack of effective government regulation, and collusion among government officials. The CIAA is currently investigating former Chief Joint Secretary of Trivandrum International Airport Immigration Office, Tirtharaj Bhattrai, on suspicion of collaborating with human traffickers and extorting money from individuals traveling on visit visas, indicating that network of trafficking under his pretext has grown increasingly entrenched.
In the last 10 months, the Department of Foreign Employment has received 4,200 complaints of fraud, with 95% of them filed against unlicensed organizations involved in foreign employment. This highlights the growing influence of middlemen who forge documents and send workers abroad on visit visas. Immigration experts warn that human trafficking is being carried out under the guise of visit visas, with middlemen reportedly paying large sums to government officials while regulatory bodies fail to act.
हाम्रो प्रशासनको छाला चाहिँ कान पनि यो गैँडाको छाला भन्दा बेसी छ। उहाँहरूले नदेखेको नबुझेको केही पनि छैन। सबैलाई इट्स एन ओपन सेक्रेट, एभ्रीबडी नोज। सबैलाई थाहा छ कहाँ कहाँ चाहिँ विकृति विसङ्गतिहरू भइरहेको छ भन्ने कुरा थाहा छ। अथवा यसमा पनि कतिपय अवस्थामा डरलाग्दो किसिमसँग विभिन्न किसिमका राजनैतिक संरक्षणदेखि लिएर यो मनी मसल्स एन्ड पावरको कुराको कारणले गर्दाखेरि अन्तमा चाहिँ को शोषित छन्, को चाहिँ पीडित छन् भन्दा त्यही समुदाय स्तरको भुइँ मान्छेहरू चाहिँ पीडित शोषित अवस्थामा छन्।
According to our reporter Suman Panth, even local tobacco shops, guest house, hotels and educational consultancy firms were found acting as middlemen by facilitating visit visas for unemployed youth under the pretext of offering employment. Monitoring by the Department of Foreign Employment remains largely nominal.
हामीले वैदेशिक रोजगार ऐन 2064 ले जे म्यान्डेट दिएको छ त्यो सबै म्यान्डेट हामी पूरा गरेर त्यो बमोजिम तर्जुमा भएका नियमावली, कार्यविधि, मापदण्ड लगायतका जति पनि कानुनी प्रावधानहरू छन् ती कानुनी प्रावधानलाई स्ट्रङली हामीले चाहिँ पालना गराउन लगाएका छौं, नियमन गरेका छौं र अनुगमनलाई तीव्रता पनि दिएका छौं।
Women workers remain highly vulnerable to fraud in foreign employment. Although a parliamentary committee had recommended strong labor agreements and safety measures a decade ago, reliable systems have yet to be established. As a result, many continue to fall into the trap of middlemen, especially when seeking work in Gulf countries.
यो खास चाहिँ विशेष गरी युरोपमा मागपत्र प्रमाणीकरण बन्द गरेको छ। बीचको बिचौलियाहरूले त्यसको फाइदा लिँदै भिसा बनाएर एउटा डेस्टिनेसन पुर्याउने, दुबई बनाउने, कतार अथवा विभिन्न देशमा पुर्याउने, त्यहाँबाट चाहिँ मान्छे त्यहाँबाट अर्को ठाउँ पुर्याउने, यो चक्कर हो एउटा। अर्को चक्कर चाहिँ महिला हाम्रो घरेलु कामदारहरू बन्द गरेको छ। घरेलु कामदारलाई भिसा बनाएर घुम्न पठाउने तर त्यहाँबाट फेरि चाहिँ काम गर्न पठाउने यो त यो बिचको बिचौलिया जुन एउटा गिरोह छ नि त्यो गिरोहलाई पहिले हामीले भनेका थियौँ यो गिरोहहरू मास्नुपर्छ यसलाई चाहिँ कारबाही गर्नुपर्छ भनेर हामीले बारम्बार कुरो उठायौँ तर त्यो चाहिँ कारबाही भएन लास्टमा अहिले यो ठुलो डिजास्टर भयो
Foreign employment trends have shifted from the Gulf and Malaysia to European countries. However, no effective labor agreements have been established with destinations like Malta, Croatia, and Romania, where a growing number of Nepalese are migrating. In the absence of institutional mechanisms, middlemen are exploiting the gap. While the government continues to promote slogans of safe and dignified migration, the reality on the ground tells a different story, as workers are being deceived at every stage of the process. With Sanjay Luitel on the camera, a report by Suman Pant.
In our Public Voice segment, we have asked in several provinces what measures should be implemented to regulate foreign employment effectively and prevent human trafficking. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
उत्पादनलाई चाहिँ बजारसँग जोड्ने खालको कार्यक्रम ल्याउन सक्यो र माटोसँग जोडिने खालको कार्यक्रम ल्याउन सक्यो भने यसलाई न्यूनीकरण गर्न सकिन्छ
युवा चाहिँ उत्पादनमा जोडिदै गर्दाखेरि त्यसले चाहिँ त्यसैमा भविष्य देख्ने खालको एउटा चाहिँ वातावरण सिर्जना गर्न सकियो भने मात्रै युवाहरू स्वदेशमा रहने हो
मान्यता प्राप्त भएको मेन पावरहरू चोइस गर्ने अनि कुन ठाउँमा कसरी जाने भन्ने कुरो सबै चीज डिटेलमा बुझेर मात्रै जानुपर्ने हुन्छ
स्थानीय स्तरमा युवाहरूलाई उत्पादनमूलक काममा सहभागी गराउन पर्यो त्यसको लागि उनीहरूलाई दक्ष बनाउन पहिला तालिम सञ्चालन गर्न पर्यो सिपमूलक तालिमहरू
विदेश जानको लागि सबै कुराहरू राज्यको निकायबाटै बुझेर चाहिँ जानु पर्यो तालिम प्राप्त भएर जानु पर्यो
जनचेतनामूलक कार्यक्रमहरू सञ्चालन गर्नुपर्छ जो विदेश जान चाहनुहुन्छ उहाँहरुका लागि
यहाँ जान मिल्छ यहाँ जान मिल्दैन भनेर चाहिँ राज्यले नै स्वयं एउटा डाटा चाहिँ आफूसँग स्पेसिफिक डाटा चाहिँ राज्यसँग हुनुपर्छ
Welcome back. During a CPN-UML training session, Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli urged CPN-UML to hold control of Kathmandu on 29th of May, calling for readiness to follow party directives. His statement has drawn criticism for potentially inciting unrest, raising concerns about undermining the role of security forces and overstepping the constitutional boundaries of the Prime Minister's authority and accountability.
15 गते 11 बजेदेखि 2 बजेसम्म काठमाडौँमा नेकपा एमालेको नियन्त्रण हुनुपर्दछ कसरी कुन संस्था अगाडि लाग्छ कुन संस्थाको आयोजना हुन्छ त्यसलाई छोड्दिनुस् यति मोबिलाइज गरेर जनता परिचालन हुँदाखेरि अनि कसले थाम्छ कसले रोक्छ त्यसकारण म साथीहरुलाई आग्रह गर्न चाहन्छु निर्देशन पछि आउँछ तपाईहरु जस्तो जे गर्नुपर्छ तयारी हालतमा बस्नु होला भोलि यहाँबाट गएपछि आज प्रशिक्षण भोलि प्रशिक्षण जति बेलासम्म प्रशिक्षण चल्छ प्रशिक्षणमा ध्यान दिनुस् प्रशिक्षण सिद्धिएपछि 15 गतेमा ध्यान दिनुस्
Now, before wrapping up, let's take a look into the top stories once again. Government moves to grant amnesty for serious crimes undermining judiciary authority. Cabinet empowered to pardon all crimes under proposed bill sparking rule of law concerns. Fraud under visa pretext escalates amid lax regulation and official collusion. CIAA investigate former immigration chief for alleged involvement in trafficking scheme at Trivandrum International Airport. Russian forces launched a barrage of 367 drones and missiles at Ukrainian cities overnight. The largest aerial attack of the war so far kills at least 13 people, injuring dozens more. And Chennai Super Kings defeats Gujarat Titans by 83 runs. Gujarat's qualification now hinges on other match results. That is all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.